For an Indian family, deportation is not just a headline. It can mean years of savings lost, dreams interrupted, and future suddenly rewritten. Indian nationals are among those who are being removed from the United States in cases involving unauthorized entry, overstays, and other immigration violation. And yes, behind every removal number, it is a person who may have spent months or maybe years trying to build a future in America. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest dangers is the promise of an easy route. Agents, they tell the family that don't worry, we know the route. You will get across, you will find a job there. But illegal migration networks, they don't control the US border, do they? In fact, the US government does, which is very, very strict. And when enforcement becomes stricter, the people who may be paid tens of thousands of dollars and also unknowingly, they can end up with nothing. No job, no legal status, and sometimes a removal order. And that is why the so-called shortcut, it can actually become the longest and most expensive route of all. Families can sell properties. Families can take loans, borrow the money from their relative and huge amount on travel arrangement further. And after all of that, the person can still be detained or removed from the US, which is actually correct way to do that. The story becomes even more painful when families believe that they are buying certainty. Well, they are not. There are no agents who can guarantee the outcome of a US border decision here. There is no secret route that can make immigration law disappear. And once a person enters the entire system through an unlawful route, getting back onto a legal path, that can become much harder or maybe impossible in near future. And yes, there is an important distinction between somebody who has entered unlawfully and somebody who is legally present but has an immigration problem here. Legal non-immigrants, they still need to take their status very seriously. Keep your I-94 current, keep your visa and immigration documents organized, understand your status, and if there is a problem, don't wait until the last moment. Because let's be honest here, once immigration enforcement reaches you, well, panic is not a strategy, preparation is. Ladies and gentlemen, America is looking back. The biggest story here is not just denaturalization, it is retrospective scrutiny. Federal authorities can, in certain circumstances, revisit the older immigration records when they believe that citizenship was obtained unlawfully or through material representation, as I told you in the previous story. So you know what? That basically means that immigration history of a person can remain relevant long after the original visa was issued. Can you think about the journey of a typical immigrant here? First comes the student visa, then perhaps OPT, then an H-1B, and then employment petition, and then green card before the final citizenship. That means years of forms, years of addresses, years of employment records, and years of travel history for you. Ladies and gentlemen, every stage adds another record to the file here. And yes, every new application creates another opportunity for information to be compared with what you said before. A tax issue, a hidden identity, a past arrest, a disputed marriage, and inaccurate employment history. A document that was presented years ago basically. Well, these issues can become important when authorities are examining whether a benefit was obtained through material representation or not. Again, not every single mistake is a fraud, and not every old inconsistency, it means citizenship is at risk. Wait, that distinction, it is extremely important for you, but there is a powerful lesson here. Your immigration history, it follows you everywhere. And that is why people preparing for naturalization should know what is actually sitting inside their old files. What do you write on your first visa application? What did you tell the USCIS years later, and what did you disclose when you apply for a green card? And most importantly, as we repeat it, what are you saying today? Those answers, they should tell you one consistent story. Don't think the US government is a fool. Don't assume that your fraud, it is never going to be caught. people, get the facts done, review the record, get qualified legal advice from the legal person, because the age of document, it does not necessarily make it invisible for you. And yes, while America is today examining immigration histories, another question is becoming increasingly urgent: who is being removed from the country altogether?